I just teach grammar.
Gildas, if they were here the other night, they heard your bastardization of what capitalism is, they'd ask you to read Wealth of Nations.
Well, we can always disagree about that, but at least we're having that conversation. Whereas in the schools today, they're not having a conversation about Wealth of Nations. That book is buried underneath the fucking stacks, and nobody ever wants to read that again. In the schools in California, what they're reading, how I got promoted to become a tenured professor was by reading, what's that motherfucker's name? Paulo Freire, however you pronounce it. When I wrote my criticism of that book, they said, okay, he gets promotion to tenure, because I said that he's right about a lot of things, but he should not just say that the students have nothing to offer. That's my biggest critique of Paulo Freire. He said the students don't have anything to offer, and I said the students do. And so they were like, okay, all right, you can hang with us, so we'll give you tenure. But if I were to try to bring up von Mises or Ayn Rand or de Tocqueville or anything like that, I would have never been given tenure. They would have been like, we didn't even read that shit, and we don't want to hear that shit.
I think they just using our system, and if we want to battle them, we have to compromise our system. America became America because of all the things that you guys don't like. If we change it, America won't be America. For example, according to Constitution, I can create a ACPAC, American Chinese Public Affairs Committee, and lobby communist ideas in the Congress.
Well, again, I will just say, man, you definitely have socialist professors even at the community college level, man, to say nothing of Berkeley or Harvard. And if we don't, maybe UT Austin is doing a good job, maybe University of Chicago is doing a good job, but dog, at this point, we're behind enemy lines. You cannot tell these students that oppression is not the theme of America. America's theme is oppression, racial oppression, gender oppression, etc., etc. They don't even want to hear a different idea, maybe one or two of them. But as they're being churned out to become voters, that's why you got a Mom Donnie in New York getting where he's getting. Now, I hope that it doesn't come to that, but if you elect a Democrat socialist to run New York City, that's very telling of the educational...
Gildas. I think him winning the Democratic primary is the biggest gift that capitalists could ever get. There's a lot of people within the Democratic Party that like to play this game that they're not socialists. In fact, Joe Biden has gotten on stages and said that he was a capitalist, which is laughable. I think this is a very good thing that's happened because it allows them to put the label on themselves so that you don't, because if you say that the Democrats are a bunch of goddamn socialists, which is what they are, if you say that, by the way, there's a lot of socialists within the Republican Party too, so don't think you're getting away without the smoke. But one is clearly worse than the other. And I think this is a gift because now they won't be able to hide from it. And if he wins, while it will be painful, it will also be a gift because it will show New York City will be a use case to show what socialist policies will do to a city. And if he wins, I will give you a list of predictions of things that will happen. And then when they come to pass, you guys will realize that they don't call me Rod Stradamus for nothing. I see these things. I sit on I sit on the mountaintop and I look at these things and I call them out before you guys see them. If you guys remember before the election when everybody was panicked thinking that Kamala Harris was going to win, I said, calm your tits. Not only is Trump going to win, he's going to win in a landslide. By the way, I wasn't a Trump supporter, didn't vote for Trump, but I will tell you what's going to happen. I do think this guy's going to lose the mayor election, but it's a gift, and Republicans should own this gift, and they should use this gift, and they should say, look, you guys are a bunch of goddamn socialists. If he fucking wins, it becomes a use case. And again, it will be painful. A lot of New Yorkers will leave. A lot of businesses will leave. New York City will be in trouble for a period of time. And then what will happen is the pendulum will swing back and New York City will become a great city again. New York City will rise again, regardless of what happened.
Yeah, but that is what I hope for. That is exactly what I hope for. I hope that New York City is resilient enough, and I do believe it is, to endure maybe 4 or 5 years of a socialist mayor, just so that they can see. But I'm not an accelerationist where they want to just see these things happen just so we can finally understand. I think in the midst of doing that, you lose so much ground. You lose so much time. I don't want us to just play with socialism so that we can all get to see what socialism does. I think we should appeal to the rational aspect of men and women to say, no, we don't even have to go down that plane. But if that's what it is what it is.
All right, I want to push back a little bit on this idea of let them see what exactly this is. The neocon response in the 1990s was absolutely terrible. They had no answer, and this was stepping back from back after the Holocaust. The main question that was posed to the college institutions and the intellectual class was, how could a Christian nation produce a Holocaust? That was basically the wedge question. And America, whether if it's indeed a Christian nation, could produce another Holocaust. Germany did. And so the failure for a coherent, cogent response from anyone since the 1950s, including the church, meant that American conservatism was essentially dead in the water. And by the time the civil rights happened, and then to top it off, with the neocon movement in the 90s or the 2000s, which was a complete, absolute failure, you could Nostradamus that, of course, the liberals will get to say and predict and teach any single thing they want and do everything they want to do. And that was a rational outcome. There's a guy named Sam Francis, who you should take a look at. He passed away in 2016. He's kind of an asshole, but he's actually his premises are largely correct. But I want to say that this mayor guy, Zoran or whatever, he's essentially sort of like a fill-in figure, like the way that the neocons were. Terrible. This is not going to work out. But the problem is that unless our answer is, oh, look how terrible this is, that's not going to be the right thing. And the problem is with the Conservative Party, they consistently have never had a proper ideological and coherent response, with the exception of Donald Trump. Everyone else has been, in fact, like you correctly stated, Roger, is basically quasi-socialist, whether they want to admit it or not. And they gave so much moral ground. I still don't see a proper response coming. Even if we see the mayor win and New York goes down a socialist shithole with the way we know it's going to do, pointing at that is not a viable strategy. I mean, the Democrats thought they could do that kind of thing, and that doesn't work.
Well, let me ask you this, David. David, let me ask you this. You got some pretty strong opinions on it, so I'll ask you a couple questions. What are you doing to help those in New York, make sure that he doesn't get elected? Are you donating your time? Are you donating your money? What is it that you're doing personally?
No. The indoctrination is on another level, Roger. Like, that's why you think that you can do something. That's the problem. You don't understand that indoctrination happened since these people went to high school, and it's in the movies and the TV they watch.
I think you missed my question. I understand that indoctrination.
What am I doing?
Hold on.
You can't do anything. You can't beat it. You're
Okay,
wasting your time.
Okay,
Yeah,
so you've taken a defeatist attitude. So I'm going to tell you
I
that.
haven't taken the defeatist attitude.
Well, of course you have. You said that you can't do anything about it, and I'm here to tell you that you can. Elections do matter. Elections do matter, and people that throw in the towel like yourself that say you can't do anything, you are part of the problem.
Actually, no, I'm not. I would actually put forward new amendments, specifically like the Alien and Sedition Act, the Communist Control Act, and I would also enforce selectively go back and reinterpret what the First Amendment actually covers, and the way it's used, as well as a clarification for the separation of church and state, which is not what people think it means at all. If you do any amount of research on the term, you just go to the Wikipedia page. It's the complete opposite. So I think there are a number of things that can be done, but it's not going to be, I'm recognizing that when you think that you can talk or roll your way out of this and convince people, the people have already demonstrated that they'll fall for anything. So, trying to, convince them better, that's not going to work.
Got it. So, okay, thanks for proving my point. You've thrown
I'd like to be the next, Mojo. I'd like to be the next.
All right. Well, hey, you've got the stage. Make it concise.
Okay, good. So I think David talked about we need to understand the enemy, right? So who is the enemy, right? Iran think that US is the big Satan and Israel is the small Satan. So the question is Iran...
hold on. Dave. We're not talking about Iran. We're talking about...
No, I'm getting that. The question is, how much you know about the enemy and what strategy is doing it right now to the college student and those people that voting for the mayor in U.S. New York. So is it the same strategy they used to defeat to fight Israel? The same strategy right now being used in U.S.
Let me just say, this will be the last fucking speaker that goes off topic. From now on, if you're off topic, I'm just going to move you to the fucking goo.
No,
I don't know if I can make that any clearer.
No.
Okay, all right. Well, let's go. Since he doesn't fucking understand that we're going to stay on topic. Don't test my patience today. I'm a little fucking cranky. They canceled the fireworks show. I'm fucking a little irritated. So, anyways.
Yeah, I just wanted to speak about Zoran. I don't know much about the guy because I haven't kept up with the New York mayor election, but I think it speaks a lot for the Democratic Party, the fact that they are wanting to get they're wanting to vote against Andrew Cuomo. I mean, granted, New York is the most progressive city in the country, arguably. So, I mean, it does speak a lot to the fact that, people are voting that the Democratic Party could have potential for change. Not necessarily what I want, but it does speak a lot to the volumes that they're sick of, the corporations and the Democratic.
Yeah, they compare